Okay. Your reaction? It was a long interview. That was just a splice, just being fair, but it was a...
Was it AI?
It was not...
Was that real?
Who knows
Was
nowadays?
that a deep fake? That was real, right?
I think it was.
Okay, that's loser behavior. Sorry. The after the game, blaming the refs is loser behavior. Before the game, telling your players you're going to have an excuse if you lose because the refs are going to be against us. Because that's what you're telling them. Yeah. Just so you, like, whether you meant to or not. Also, if that's true, that makes his challenge even worse. If you think we're not going to get the benefit of anything, then, hey, buddy, you're going to really need all your challenges because you could get screwed left and right here. And you certainly shouldn't blow one on one you're not going to win, that even if you do win, you net 14 yards and it's a first down either way. That was already a bad challenge. Even worse if you think the refs are going to be against us. Another thing you shouldn't do if you think the 50-50 calls are going to be 90-10 calls, run the exact type of play in a huge fourth down spot that leaves it up to the referee's discretion when you have come very close to failing at that already in that game and have failed at that already in that game. I wouldn't run a play where it's going to be 6 inches in one direction or another. I might run a real football play. So I am beside myself that both coaches of the teams that the Chiefs have been better prepared for the games, out-executed, have had better talent, better game plans, bigger high-leverage situations, all of it. After the game, it's like, well, we knew we probably, weren't going to have a chance because of the officiating. And I would be, if I'm a Bills fan, that's not inspiring leadership by Sean McDermott. That's my take.
I disagree. I have no problem with him saying it to his team. Like he mentioned, most coaches, most teams are made aware of what they're going up against, whether it's a crew that calls a lot of holdings, whether you're going up against a team where you feel like they're going to get favorable calls. You want to alert your team of that because you don't want them to react. You don't want them to concern themselves about it. I got it. That's my job, guys. So I don't have a problem with him saying it to his team. That happens all the time. The problem comes when you continue to talk about it and you said it to your team. Cool. We don't even need to know that. But now you talk about it in post-game, 3 days later, 4 days later, and now it's like we get to look at it like you guys were going in there anticipating this with an excuse in your back pocket. That's what it looks like because he's continuing to allow it to get air and breathe. Like James Cook had an interview the other day on the podcast.
James Cook's like, man,
and
bleep
he's
that
like,
bleep.
Exactly. He's like, man, skip all that. Because to your point, if you run a play that you understand it's in the ref's hands, you kind of put yourself in the situation for that to happen.
Mm. Yeah, look, I'm trying to calm your nerves, Nick. This is not Chiefs specific. All right. The dynasties, this happens. The Patriots, everybody accused them of getting all the calls. Even the Tuck rule and all that, everything's done for the Patriots. Jordan's dynasty, there were always, Phil Jackson's playing, Jordan plays with the refs and cozies up to him. Phil Jackson plays his mind games and he's getting these calls. That was a big problem with the Knicks. Jeff Van Gundy, they would always go against the Bulls are getting these calls. So I don't think it's just, I think when a team is that dominant, the other teams are looking for other reasons why they lost. Now, I'm more with Greg on this comment. If the coach, I don't have a problem with the coach as you're preparing that week for the game saying, look, we're not getting any calls. Because a lot of players will take that not as, he's giving us an excuse if we lose. They'll take it as we have to be that much better.
Correct.
When there's no excuse, you're not getting the calls. It's us against the world, so to speak. It's us against the Chiefs and the refs and the crowd at Arrowhead. We got to go out there and be that much better. So I think it can be a good motivational tool. So I don't have a problem with that. I do agree overall that James Cook has the right mindset of, look, no excuses, period. I love that mentality, but I'm not going to kill. And McDermott is just being honest. He's in these 20-minute press conferences.
Yeah,
like you said, it's a
was an
long
hour.
time. He did say at the end, look, there's no excuses, but he could pull a Belichick and be like, I'm not even answering that, or no next question or whatever. But he's just talking to him and giving his honest thought.
The follow-up was, for what it's worth, is that a message you have to say often, or is that for this specific opponent? That was the follow-up to the quote we just said. And this is me being the most optimistic pro Sean McDermott. He said, well, it's different when you're playing away than when it's at home. And it's, we always learn about the cruise. And then again, he followed up with, at the end of the day, the game was decided on the field, da-da-da. He's trying to do a little bit of both. Yeah. They try to complain about the refs. I want to put this out here. Just put it out there. Give it a little bit out there. And then cut it like, it didn't matter.
But
it's like, well, if it didn't matter, you got to flip it. Say, it didn't matter, and then you can just, this stuff.
A lot of that's gamesmanship, and you're trying, because again, covering the NBA, coaches did this all the time. You try to put it in the refs' minds and in the league's minds. Hey, watch the Chiefs.
Yeah, I get that. But how? There's no game. That's your end of year press conference.
But it's going to continue in the next year.
Well, so here's the other thing.
I mean, but I'm just saying, this is stuff they will continue to talk about.
Because here's what I do think. I do think that the home team gets part of home field advantage is you are likely going to get a slightly favorable whistle. I think it is most noticeable in the NBA. Like, there's real data to suggest that.
Yes.
I also think there is a somewhat of an element of it too in the NFL. So the other thing is, have this. I understand last year the game was in Orchard Park, but that's fine. Be better. Be better. The answer to all of this is always be better. Mm-hmm. Be better in the regular season so you're the one hosting the game. Be better during the game so it is not a fourth down call with 13 minutes left in the game. Just kneecaps your chances.
So the frustrating part for me listening to this, and I listened to a lot of it, was that was his message for the bulk of this hour interview. And then it was just like being on a diet and just having like some cookies, like, I got to talk about the refs real quick. Like, no, I'm back on the diet. That was just a little bit of a departure, but he was so close. The whole interview, he's just talking.
If I do the whole show today, and in every segment, every word I say is fine, except for the one time I drop an F-bomb on you. There is no credit for 99% of the show I was fine. You're being too nice here. This is the second, like, these are, if you guys can disagree with me, that's totally valid, obviously, about the pregame message to the team privately. He, right after the game, even if we want to be like, man, tensions are high, you're sad, whatever. He's wearing a flannel from 4 days later, and he made
It was also like live, like, you're going to get me in trouble. It was that.
He knew going into that, I am going to be asked about the officiating. He knew that.
Here's the thing.
And that's true.
They want it out there. They want to put it in the referees' minds.
You think this is about a future game against the Chiefs?
I think all of them, they want people to. They love this talk about it.
So James Cook screwed up then.
I'm not saying he's talked to the players about, hey, I'm going to put it out. I'm saying in a coach's mind, they love putting it in the referees' mind. Hey, watch these calls and things like that.
I don't agree with that part. I don't think he's trying to put it out there as a filler so that they can pay attention to it. I don't think that. I just think, to your point, he has to dead this.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.